Well, hello and welcome back. It's time for the Tapinar where we're talking and tapping. And again, this week, Kandiee Campbell is with us, and I'm so excited. If you haven't seen her before, she's a very experienced grief counselor, coach, transformational coach, and host of an amazing radio show podcast called Awaken Hope. And I'm just really thrilled to have her with me today because she loves to dive into this tapping stuff too. Um,
Mhm.
I will remind you later that you can find free downloads on how to tap, what it is, how to do it, and a guide through tapping for stress and anxiety that can give you just a little bit of a touch of it. But we'll guide you through today as well. We have decided that we really just want to be organic and intuitive about our meetings together to do this, to share our experience, our expertise, our knowledge around this whole idea of the power in your fingertips, this invisible energy system within you where you literally use your fingers to tap on your face and your body and release the tension within your nervous system, your muscles, your skeletal system, everything, and bring your mind out of what we call spin. So, just before we came on, I asked Kandiee if she had a focus for today, because sometimes I'm all over the map, which I think is part of what we can do with tapping is to bring ourselves into off focus. So we're going to talk about balance and how on earth can we do that? And I'm kind of with a lot of the pundits who say there really is no true balance. It can often be a little off kilter, but I think sometimes we really get thrown off. So that's what we're going to definitely address today, getting balance in our life. So, Kandiee, let me know exactly what do you mean by that? What's taking you there today?
Just not to get so far ahead of myself in the future. There's a lot of stuff coming up on my calendars from here until December. And, sometimes it's easy for me to get lost in those future events and not in what I'm doing here now.
Uh-huh.
But which I know causes anxiety. When you're trying to control an event that has not happened yet, you get
Yeah.
into anxiety.
That is
So
such a big purpose of the whole thing of that why we're here, because we know that we can get ourselves caught in this idea of ruminating about the past, whether it was just this morning or yesterday or years ago, and then also worrying about the future, tomorrow, or as you're talking about within the next 6 months, all that stuff. So come back, tell me more about how you're feeling now about that.
I just really would like to come back into the here and now. I mean, my mind, I catch myself thinking about the next month with my second grandchild being born and, trying to map that out. And I know that's beyond my control. Rationally, I know that. But there's a part of me that still wants to kind of, well, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm trying to make since my second grandchild lives on the mainland, I'm trying to make uh, availability to travel, but I also have to, make sure I do my content for my radio show, and I schedule, I have guests coming on, and I'm going too far forward. But the truth is, I just need to come into the here and now. All those circumstances, all those little things that are wrapping around my head really aren't mine to control, but I think tapping reminds me of that, okay, you have now, that's all you have. All the other stuff that is like infiltrating my brain going, what about this? What about this? When are you going to do this? And it will fall into place as long as I stay in the here and now. But if I'm focusing more on the what about and what if, I'm spinning myself up, and then I'm it's counter effective because I'm not thinking about the things I need to think of now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so okay, everybody watching, listening, this is what we do, right? We all do this, and we can get caught up in that hamster wheel of thought
Mm.
that, what if, what if, what if? So using this technique will help us come through it and get more grounded. And what happens that I love about it is when we go into this spin, we can't think. We cannot focus. We can only have those thoughts about, well, last time I did that and that didn't work out, but oh, but this part did. Oh, but I could plan that. And oh my God, what about my schedule? And oh my God, right? So there's all of that happening. And all of those internal things that happen to us. And if you're into the science geeky side, there's plenty of information out there about all the different hormones and things that go astray, and how you might start eating and going for things and doing all sorts of stuff instead of getting back down and getting grounded and getting balanced. So, what I want to do is start some tapping right away. Let's just work on this part of it now, Candy, to demonstrate how it works and then go further along. Um, because as we tap, other thoughts can come through, right?
Yep.
So I want you to just think and not think. We're trying to not think, trying to allow our subconscious mind to come in and our bodies to respond to what's going on. So consider all this frenetic energy and all these different things that you're concerned about that are legitimate. You really do need to keep some focus on all of that, or you won't show up for everything, right? So you've got to, figure that out. Um, However, because there's so much, we're getting lost in thought and not able to do anything. So, what is your overriding feeling about it right now? Is it anxiety? Is it something else? What's the thought there? Emotion.
That's a good question. That's a real good question.
Mm.
I believe it's, I mean, I honestly have, other than October and November, I have a trip planned every month, except for those 2 months. And I think it's about trying to manage my schedule around every trip I've got and how to fit everything in and around those scheduled trips.
So, is it like an overwhelm?
A little bit, I would say a little bit of overwhelm because I've already got stuff on the schedule going out all the way to December.
Right. So you're, which is like kind of how cool is that, guys, that this um radio show slash podcast, because you can get it wherever you get your podcasts, is booked, and there are amazing guests that you really want to listen to, but also life is happening around that too. So within that, when you're thinking about it and you're like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, what if? And what about this? And what about that? And you start to do that. What's the overriding, underlying emotion?
Not being able to perform enough. I mean, the other thing is I think about my
Okay, wait, you
numbers,
just said it.
not
Not
being able
enough. Not enough,
enough.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you said, not being able to perform enough. And that
You know,
comes down to I'm not
is
enough.
yeah, I mean, my show, my numbers, I think of numbers and I go, oh, is this appealing to people? Do people want to hear it? And I mean, my numbers are growing, but then that gets stuck in the back of my head that I'm focused on that and not necessarily where I need to focus. I'm worried
Yeah.
about the numbers.
Okay. So as we look at this and as you feel into it, just come down into your body, kind of do a little body scan from the top of your head to your toes and search for anything that feels uncomfortable, um, is tightened up. There's perhaps pain, discomfort of any kind. Where do you feel it in your body? All this stuff to do.
I think there's part of it in my solar plexus and my sacral chakra.
Okay. So solar plexus is just below, right underneath the rib cage. If you put your hand on your upper abdomen, that's where our third chakra lies, the solar plexus. And just below that, just below the navel, is the sacral chakra or the second chakra. Now, what happens when we get up into our head and keep thinking, there's a lot of fear and unsafety going on because of all things you need to do. So that's our first chakra, which is not only from the sacral down, but it's also our body, the chair we sit in, the house we live in, everywhere we are, everywhere we go. That is our first chakra. So it kind of always has that underlying part to it. If we think about the sacral chakra, in that second chakra is where our wants, our needs, our desires are. Some of them we have pushed aside since we were young, and they're still there wanting to happen. But mixed up with them, I always think of the yin yang symbol. Mixed up with them is the negative, nagging stuff, the frustration, the overwhelm, the anger, the fear, the sadness, the anxiety, etc., are all right there in the same place. At the solar plexus, which is where you went to first, does that feel like the loudest, the most within your body right now, the solar plexus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the solar plexus, the third chakra, everybody, is about action. It's where we take action. And there's a lot around that where we talk a lot about what happened to us when these chakras were coming on board as we were developing as children, beginning in the womb all the way through age 12-ish or so, 13. But right around the third chakra part, we may all have times when something traumatic happened. And we can have some really heavy duty trauma or these what we call little t traumas that happen. For me, it was always around being in school, maybe third grade and, second, third, or up, not being able to perform, as you said earlier, it just dawned on me, not being able to perform up to par with what the teachers wanted us to do, what the other kids were watching. So we might not be able to read well, spell. Oh, I dreaded going to the board and doing math.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back all the time to us, even though we're not thinking about that. That is the part of us that's getting triggered into these thoughts. What if? Right? So that's where we are. All right. So just feel into that now, Kandiee. Then, and thinking about all of this stuff that keeps coming to mind, stuck in your head, what is the intensity around that? Around this discomfort in your abdomen, as well as this overwhelm and a not enoughness, anxiety kind of feeling. How intense is that on a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest, like going into panic?
I would say probably about a 6,
A
maybe
6. Okay.
7. The ranges between 6 and 7, depending on how much thought I give it.
Exactly. So I want to say, everybody, that when you begin to use this method of tapping and other things that we can teach you, you can trigger yourself up and still be at a 6 or 7 rather than going all the way up to the top at 10, where our clients tell us they're really 10 plus 11, 12 because they're really ramped up and spinning in their head a lot. And when we use this method, we can kind of stay a little bit more buffered. And then as we do this today, we will watch and see how Sandy feels as she goes through this and comes down from that. So let's take a look and just tap through. I took notes as you were speaking, Kandiee, and I'm just going to go through those, and we will be tapping and you'll be repeating. So everyone who's listening and watching and or listening, I hope you put it in your earbuds and you go walking when you do this, or anywhere you can take time for yourself. But take the moment to think about your own stresses. What is that for you? What's that emotion? And as we say these words, just repeat as well. You will get an effect from it, even if it doesn't sound true for you. But you can also put your own words in there as well. When we get to some of those, you'll be able to do it. It's pretty easy. And we're just going to start tapping. I will call the points out again, because I know not everybody's really quite familiar. You can just follow along. You don't really have to follow me. You can just tap wherever you want to, as long as you know where those points are. Again, that's a lesson you can get for free. So let's get going, Kandiee. Think about where you are right now and what's going on, all this stuff in your head, and we'll just start tapping on it. So take a breath. I'm going to start with the side of the hand this time. Even though I have so much to think about,
Even though I have so much to think about,
I'm just going to honor myself today.
I'm just going to honor myself today.
And even though I'm highly stressed over so much to do,
Even though I'm highly stressed over so much to do,
so much going on in my brain,
so much going on in my brain,
right here and right now,
right here and right now,
I honor myself.
I honor myself.
And even though when I think about this, I get even more stressed
Even though when I think about this, I get even more stressed
and I don't know how to get out of it,
and I don't know how to get out of it.
right here and right now,
Right here and right now,
I honor myself.
I honor myself.
And we're going to tap through the points with the eyebrow. I'm always ahead of myself.
I'm always ahead of myself,
Side of the eye, thinking about the future.
thinking about the future.
Under eye, I'm scheduled 6 months out.
I'm scheduled 6 months out.
Under nose, I'm not present.
I'm not present.
Under the lips at the chin, it's causing anxiety.
It's causing anxiety.
Collarbones, I just want to come back to the here and now.
I just want to come back to the here and now.
Underarm, but I keep thinking about everything.
But I keep thinking about everything.
Top of the head, thinking about next month.
Thinking about next month.
Eyebrow, there's a grandchild coming.
There's a grandchild coming.
Number 2, side of the eye.
Number 2.
Under eye, but it's out of my control.
But it's out of my control.
Under nose, I can't do anything about it.
I can't do anything about it.
At the chin, but I'm trying to make myself available.
But I'm trying to make myself available
Collarbone, to travel
to travel
so that I can see this newborn.
so I can see this newborn.
Underarm, but I have a full radio show schedule.
But I have a full radio show scheduled.
Top of the head, it's kind of making me a little more anxious as I think of it.
Kind of making me a little more anxious as I think of it.
Eyebrow, I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Side of the eye. I know all I have is now.
I know all I have is now,
Under eye, but I keep thinking.
but I keep thinking,
Under nose, what about this?
what about this?
Chin, what about that?
What about that?
Collarbone, what about that other thing?
What about that other thing?
Underarm, what if?
What if?
Top of the head, it's so counter-effective.
It's so counter-effective.
Eyebrow, I have to manage my schedule.
I have to manage my schedule.
It just throws me into overwhelm.
It just throws me into overwhelm.
Under eye, and I feel like I'm not doing enough.
And I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Under nose, I'm not enough.
I'm not enough.
Chin, I can't do it all.
I can't do it all.
Collarbone, and I keep thinking about my show numbers.
And I keep thinking about my show numbers.
Underarm, do they like me?
Do they like me?
Top of the head, are they responding to what I give them?
Are they responding to what I give them?
Eyebrow, it's all just stuck in my head.
It's all this stuff in my head.
Side of the eye, thinking about the numbers.
Thinking about the numbers.
Under eye, numbers in my head.
Numbers in my head.
Under nose, new baby coming.
New baby coming.
Chin, travel.
Travel.
Collarbone, new schedule.
New schedule.
Underarm, everything filled up.
Everything filled up.
Top of the head, so much to think about.
So much to think about.
Eyebrow, I'm just going to honor how I feel.
I'm just going to honor how I feel.
Side of the eye, of course I would be stressed.
Say again.
Of course, I'd be stressed.
Of course, I'd be stressed.
Under eye, because there's a lot to think about.
Because this is a lot to think about.
Under nose, and I know I need some control.
And I know I need some control.
Chin, but I'm open to letting go of some of it too.
But I'm open to letting go of some of it too.
Collarbone, I'm open to letting go.
I'm open to letting go.
And I honor how far I've come,
And I honor how far I've come,
how much I'm doing,
how much I'm doing,
and the amazing future ahead.
and the amazing future ahead.
I'm just going to let this go,
I'm just going to let this go,
knowing I still have all that ahead of me,
knowing that I still have all that ahead of me,
but I can tackle each one
but I can tackle each one,
for maybe even a few minutes at a time,
maybe even a few minutes at a time,
taking each subject
taking each subject
one at a time,
one at a time,
making my list.
making my list.
What do I really need to do for the grandchild coming?
What do I really need to do for the grandchild coming?
Making another list.
Making another list.
How many trips do I have planned?
How many trips do I have planned?
What do I need to do there?
What do I need to do there?
Chin, I'm open to receiving downloads of information
I'm open to receiving downloads of information.
from the collarbone, writing out my list,
Writing out my list.
letting intuition guide me,
Letting intuition guide me.
letting go of all the control,
Letting go of all the control.
and looking forward to celebrating.
I'm looking forward to celebrating.
Celebrating this beautiful new grandchild,
Celebrating this beautiful new grandchild.
celebrating my full radio show schedule,
Celebrating my full radio show schedule.
celebrating my guests,
celebrating my guests
and my clients,
and my clients,
letting go of the worry
letting go of the worries,
because there's nothing I can do about some of that.
because there's nothing I can do about some of that. Hmm.
Relaxing my brain,
Relaxing my brain,
feeling my muscles relax,
feeling my muscles relax,
my nervous system calming down,
my nervous system calming down,
1 or 2 points into calm.
1 or 2 points in the calm.
I'm open to letting some of this overwhelm go.
I'm open to letting some of this overwhelm go.
And just take a nice breath
Hmm.
and feeling into your body again. How do you feel in your body? Is it still the solar plexus area?
No, it's calmed down.
Okay,
It's
and
not.
what's the number now?
I would say I'm more around a 1.
Wow. All right, just breathe into that. That's phenomenal. Is there any other thing coming up there for you?
Now I feel very relaxed.
Excellent.
Now I want a nap.
So if you're observing during this, as you're tapping along with us, you may have heard Kandiee yawn a few times, which
Mhm.
is a real signal of the energy moving. When we do this work, we may have a tear, we may sneeze, yawning is typical. There may be other weird things. Sometimes you'll feel tingles in your hands or feet or, just different body sensations. But if you're feeling inward and that was there at her solar plexus and down to her sacral, that released. So it's no longer tightening there. So now, Kandiee, as you feel so much more relaxed, and I know you still have residual from because you just took a trip to the mainland out of Hawaii, and back. As you feel into that, do you feel you'll have some time to just sit with pen and paper and write down what's in your head around grandchild coming, radio show, all those numbers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Writing a note now.
Yeah. So what's really cool, and everybody, depending on how you are, we can do post-it notes, we can do big notepads, we can put it on our phone and in our laptop, all those different ways, as long as you're able to access it and work with it. But often, once we write things down, a couple things happen because there's this magic between pen and paper, or use pencils and colored pencils and pens and doodle draw and do those kinds of things. You will receive those downloads that I was talking about, those beautiful insights and intuition and ideas, instincts that will come, and you'll be able to write that, and you might go off on another tangent like, oh my God, here's another thing I can do, but it's exciting and it's fun and it's like, oh yeah. And once we write the list, we go, okay, well, I'm okay with that part. I know how to pack, I know how to do this and to do that. I can't do anything till I get there, and what my main job is to help mom, right, and take the pressure away from her. So
Mhm.
all that stuff is going to be there. It doesn't mean that this um, anxious feeling is not going to return, because it will. But every time it does, you go, oh, there you are again. I was expecting you, and just tap a little bit and just, okay, it's okay. What am I missing? That's what I like to do, is just, I'll gravitate to the collarbones and just, okay, what do I need to know? What am I missing? There's something else here. What do I need to see and feel? And that will come to you. Promise. It really does. It's just so powerful. And the other reminder is this, what's called the SUD scale from 0 to 10. is logarithmic. So when it goes down number, it's not just one number. It's 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. So when you go all the way from 6 and 7 down to a 1, holy moly. So never beat yourself up about where you are, because if you don't come down, maybe you actually come up a little. It's okay. It just means you have something there that needs to move and come out that you haven't touched on. So just keep going. It won't take long, and let that happen. And when you come down 1 or 2, it is powerful. It's
Mhm.
powerful. That's all I can say. It's really powerful.
Well, even while I was on the trip, I did tapping, just short little taps to begin my day. I mean, they were, 1, 2-minute ones, and I just do a
Yeah.
couple just to kind of calm me. So it does work. I just,
Yeah.
when we forget, like
Right.
we all tend to do,
So,
we get sidetracked, we get busy.
yeah, what I would like to do now is remembering the future tapping.
Okay.
And so we can, give everyone an example of what that's like. So
Okay.
whenever we're going to do anything that we're a bit concerned about, I do this a lot when I'm going on a trip, and I do it before coaching calls. I will do it for a lot of different things. Maybe I'm going to an event that has a lot of different family members in. It could be anything. Or maybe I'm teaching, doing something. So it's a really cool technique. It's especially powerful prior to any medical procedures or surgeries and stuff. And you only need a few minutes to do it. It's not a big deal. So what we do is we look at what's going on and what we're concerned about, what's coming up next. For Kandiee, it's like 6 months worth, but we're going to narrow it a little. And then we look at it as if it's already happened. And we're coming back to someone. Maybe she's going to tell me or her best friend or her husband how it all went. But we're speaking as if it's already happened and the best scenario happened. It's like when you went to see the most amazing movie and you got to tell people about it. And it's like, oh my God, you won't believe. Or you went to this restaurant that just blew you away. The ambiance, the food, the service, oh, holy moly, right? So
Mhm.
this is what we're going to do now. And Kandiee, I want you to begin to think about everything coming up. And we can start with this coming month and your grandchild. And at the same time, wrap in the concern around your schedule and the numbers. Okay, so I'll guide you a little bit, but I want you to just jump in and be really enthusiastic, right? Okay,
Okay.
all right, so let's go with that. Let's go with the child first and move from there.
Okay.
Okay, just take a breath, see it in the movie screen of your mind. Take a look at how this is going to be, and you're coming back to tell us all about this amazing event. I want to ask just a couple things, like what are your main concerns about? Is there a travel concern about getting there or anything else?
No, it's not so much getting there. It's about making sure I have the resources, the financial resources to do these trips and stuff. I mean,
Uh-huh.
without having to always tap into the family funds.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, I
That's
know.
that's a whole nother tapping event. We can talk about money and all that stuff because we all need it. We all go there. All right, so let's just begin with nice deep breath again. I'm just gonna wing it right here, Kandiee, and you jump in whenever. All right, so oh my God, you won't believe it.
Oh my God, you won't believe it.
It was the most amazing time.
It was the most amazing time.
First of all, I did get organized.
First of all, I did get organized.
I made an incredible list.
I made an incredible list.
segmented it out,
segmented it out,
and I gave this next month my priority.
and I gave this next month my priority.
It was a smooth, hassle-free trip.
It was a smooth, hassle-free trip.
Getting to the airport,
Getting to the airport,
no fuss getting through security,
no fuss getting through security,
everything on time.
everything on time.
All the attendants were so friendly.
All the attendants were so friendly.
Everybody on the plane was great.
Everybody on the plane was great.
We all moved as one,
We all moved as one,
getting to our seats,
getting to our seats,
settling in.
settling in.
We had a safe, smooth, unbelievable trip.
We had a safe, smooth, unbelievable trip.
Safe, smooth takeoff, flight, and landing.
Safe, smooth takeoff, flight, and landing.
Everybody's luggage was there.
Everybody's luggage was there.
I had the most amazing time arriving for this trip.
I had the most amazing time arriving for this trip.
And oh, what fun
And oh, what fun
to help everybody
to help everybody
and give love to this beautiful child.
and to give love to this beautiful child.
I was able to settle in and be present for that little one.
I was able to settle in and be present for the little one.
I even did a little tapping on her face
I even did a little tapping on her feet
and on her body
and on her body
so she could rest and relax and feel safe.
so she could rest and relax and feel safe
And I felt so loved
and felt so loved
and needed,
and needed.
and realizing that I am enough,
And realizing that I am enough,
capable of doing this,
capable of doing this,
being present for my family,
being present for my family,
letting go of worry for other things.
letting go of worries for other things.
And when I got back,
And when I got back,
I had all kinds of amazing reviews for the radio show.
I had all kinds of amazing reviews for the radio show.
The numbers went up.
The numbers went up.
And I said, oh, holy crap, I did this.
I said, oh, holy crap, I did this.
And I realized that it's easier
And I realized that it's easier
if I let go of the grip,
if I let go of the grip.
just like that grip I felt in my solar plexus.
Just like that grip I felt in my solar plexus.
I realized I didn't need to have such a tight hold on it.
I realized I didn't need to have such a tight hold on it.
And everything is flowing so smoothly.
And everything is flowing so smoothly.
I'm not worrying.
I'm not worrying.
I'm able to do this.
I'm able to do this.
Everything's coming together.
Everything's coming together.
People are loving the show.
People are loving the show.
I'm still able to take time to travel
I'm still able to take time to travel
and take care of my business.
and take care of my business.
So I never have to worry about the finances
And I never have to worry about the finances
because everything's flowing so smoothly.
because everything is flowing so smoothly.
I let go of my tight grip,
I let go of my tight grip
let my inner energy flow
and my inner energy flow
so I can manifest my best life.
so I can manifest my best life.
And I can share with my community.
And I can share with my community.
I can help the people who listen
I can help the people who listen
to bring hope
to bring hope
and love
and love
to others.
to others,
because I know I'm on the right path
because I know I'm on the right path
for my highest good
for my highest good
and greatest joy,
and greatest joy,
and the highest good and joy of all.
and the highest good and joy of all.
Ah, okay. Let's take a breath and shake it out. All right. So this is something you'll want to repeat before you go.
Mhm.
It can really be very, very quick. You know, we've talked about this before, everybody. Tapping is all up to you. You can generally just do a very short amount of time and feel yourself come into your body. In fact, tapping without words works. Come right out of your spinning brain and into your body as soon as you start to tap. So just take those breaths and relax. And if you want to learn more, please take advantage. Go to sandyevenson.com, download the freebie there. Within that, I'm calling it a Taptorial. There's the short video on what is tapping and how to tap. But then the other is tapping for stress and anxiety. And you can plug in whatever word you need to put in there. If you're really angry, frustrated, and pissed off, those are the words you want to say. But if you're sad and you're thinking about the loss of someone or something, use those words.
Mhm.
Go with whatever is there for you.
Mhm.
In future shows, we can talk about the full mind-body method, which we did a bit with Kandiee today. I'm focusing on where do I feel this? And I
Mhm.
just want to tell everyone, start to pay attention to sensations in your body. So whenever Kandiee feels that in her solar plexus, that bit there, she can stop and just go, I wonder what that's about. While she's tapping, notice I gravitate to the collarbone, but you know what I mean? You can do
Mhm.
this. It's so easy. And, for me, it's a lot of times it's like my chest, my lungs, my heart is like, I'll do that and maybe a rapid heartbeat. I can be driving and start getting ramped up because maybe I don't know where I'm going. And,
Mhm.
where I was very familiar with where I lived, I would just turn the radio down because I could think better. I know I've heard lots of people say that, turn the sound down. Then I can see better. What is that? I can see better. But in this case, I'm not real familiar with where I am. And, I'm driving a car I'm not super comfortable with. There's all these different things that come in. So now I've got it all. And I'm like, I don't even have music on. I'm feeling it. So I will just start with, as we talked about before, tapping the side of my hand on the steering wheel or on my collarbone, something, even my thigh. So know that you can do this. Kandiee, what else is coming up? Do you have anything that you want to add?
I actually feel pretty relaxed right now. There's
Excellent. Good.
can't think of anything right now that's popping up that's really super
Yeah.
loud. The Yeah, I actually feel very relaxed and
Yeah.
very in my
Yeah.
body and
Uh,
not in my head so much. That's my biggest challenge is the rational brain part of me is
yeah.
where I tend to live, but oftentimes I was reminded I have to drop down into my to my heart and my gut.
Exactly. Well, it's a place that we don't want to go. Even if we don't think about that, we might not say, I don't want to go there. It can just be this subconscious protection
Mhm.
from that younger self who didn't want to go to the board and do math or whatever. It can be from those parts of us that are watching out. They're always on alert. So, when we spend a lot of time in our heads, it's often because we had a disconnect way back, even in the womb, many of us. And so it's not safe to be there in our body, just not safe. So we don't think about it that way, but we're just thinking, we really think we can think our way out of things. If I could just think about it a little longer. So this is why I encourage you to use a journal, have a notepad, write things down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when things come to you that don't make sense, that's your intuition. So whether it's in a dream or maybe you're doing some meditation, or you're just, doing random things. When thoughts come and go, they go really fast. They're like faster than trying to remember the dream when you wake up. Spirit is fast. So when you hear something or sense something, see, some of us are visual, some of us are, just feel it. You'll get a sense for something, write that down, whatever it is. And especially if it doesn't make sense, we know for sure it's not our rational mind. If it's making sense, then it's your rational mind. It's something you already heard or learned, or your logic kicked in and went, well, if 2 and 2 is this, then if I add 3, it's that, it's just that kind of thing. Why did I use math just then? That's funny. So, I guess I'm calming my inner child at the moment too. And just one more thing is that whenever you tap, whether you're tapping on your own or you're tapping with someone else and you're going through their issues, you will benefit. I write about that in my book, which you can also look at on my website because there's a free peek there. But I just want you to know that as soon as you start to do it, you
Mm-hmm.
will have results. And even if you're a skeptic, I love it when we work with someone who doesn't like, this is ridiculous. I look like a fool. What the hell am I doing? Right? This is crazy. If anybody sees me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it works immediately. It's just crazy. There's so much science behind it. But let's wrap it up, Kandiee. I want to just say um, a huge amount of gratitude for you to coming on with me and wanting to experience this as well and sharing this with everyone so they can see how it works. I would invite all of you to please reach out to either of us through social media or here on the YouTube channel and tell me what you want to learn. Would you like to come on and volunteer and be recorded to help others? If not, you can reach out and we'll work with you privately. That's not a big deal. You can reach us that way too. So have an incredible week and we'll be back again. Signing
Next
off.
week.
Yes. So just remember you are loved. I see your beauty. I see your light. Shine brightly.